Hi, in this video, we are going to look at how you can find and use WGSN through the FIT Library website. So we're starting on the FIT Library website homepage, and we're going to look at how you can get to our databases page from here. There are actually a few ways you can do it, but we're going to start by looking in the upper right-hand corner in this green menu button. So this menu is very distinctive since it's really the only thing that's green on our website, which is why I think it's a good way to get to our databases. So if you click on this, it's going to pop open the full menu for our website. And on the right-hand side here, you can see the second option down is databases. If you click on that, it's going to take you to the full list of all of our databases. Now, if you know the name of a database, you could search for it using this search box. But if you just know what letter it starts with, you can also just click that letter here in this alphabetical list. So I'm going to click W for WGSN, and now I'm going to get all of these options. So let's start by looking at this little note here. This database has special instructions, so we're going to click here to see more. And it's going to tell us a bit more about what we have access to and what we do not have access to. It's also going to tell us that we should access this through an incognito browser window. So to do that, I'm now going to click here, but I'm going to right click. And I'm going to select Open in an Incognito window from the different options that pop up. Now I am on a page where I can log into this account using my FIT username, which is the first part of my email address before the @ symbol, and the same password I use for all of my FIT resources like Brightspace and my email. Once I've done that, I click Sign In, and I'll be taken to WGSN. So here we are on the WGSN homepage. You can see that they're going to have a lot of different information here, but a lot of this information is going to be about consumers, marketing, and retail. To go specifically to the fashion design information, we're going to click on Fashion and select Fashion Design. This is going to give us a new top menu that you can see here, which is going to lead us to all of their forecasting materials. So if we look at this top menu, Future Strategies is where you can find their macro forecast content. Macro forecasts are the big ideas that are going to influence the future, not just of fashion, but of all different types of design. So you can see they have things going all the way out to 2027, and they've got things like Future Consumer 2027 Emotions and Personas as individual reports. If we scroll down a little bit further, you can see that they also have this Big Ideas 2027 fashion report. This is going to relate these macro trends that they've identified to fashion specifically. So let's look at what that is. If we click on this, you're going to see that it's going to give you an audio summary, and it's going to tell you about what these big ideas they think are coming are, and that's what they have listed here as strategies on the right. They're going to explain why they've come up with these and give you what they call proof points, which are data that backs up what they're saying is coming next. And for all of these, they're going to tell you data and where that data came from so that you could go back to that report yourself and verify what they've said. And you can think of all of this information where they're citing their sources as examples of how citations work in the business world. Even though you may not use APA citation style once you're working in the industry, you will be referring back to your sources and you will be pointing people to where your information came from so that they can understand what you're relying on and look to it themselves for verification. If we continue coming down, they're going to break down each of these different strategies that they've identified into actionable items. So they're going to tell you a bit more about it. They're going to link to their other reports that we were talking about. And they're going to talk about how you might apply this. What strategies might you use to start using this? The strategies in this report are focused on the fashion industry. They're typically not as focused on design details, and we'll look at where you can find that sort of information, what the actual design trends that are coming are. But this is a really useful report to understand what's coming next in the industry. For these different images, if you want to use one in one of your class projects, you can download them by clicking on this download option here. So if we instead want to go back to the homepage and think, well, where would I find specifically fashion design forecast information? We can do that in a couple of different ways using this top menu. We can go to market and navigate by which market we're interested in between women's, men's, youth, and kids, or we can do it by season. So if your assignment specifies that you need to be thinking about spring, summer 2027, you can click on that season. And this is going to show you all reports for all markets that are related to spring, summer 2027. And you'll see that they'll be marked with what they're about. So men's active, eyewear, kids. And you can scroll through to see which ones are most important for you. So let's say that we want to look at key items of fashion, women's active outdoor apparel. We would click on this report, and it's going to give us more information. It's going to tell us when it was published, and again, this is the information that you'll use for citations, and it's going to give you lots of imagery which you can again download and cite properly in your projects. It starts with a summary about what you need to know about this particular trend they've identified. And again, it's got these proof points where they're going to show you their data. What are they looking at? And that can be images and numerical data when we're talking about these design trends. This is also a place where you can come and look at CADs and flats sometimes, and these can also be downloaded for your own use. If we scroll down to the bottom, they'll also show you a range plan of CADs and flats and link you out to other things that might be useful in your research. So let's try looking at this from the women's market side instead and see how it's different. So here you'll see that they are going to give you a lot of different reports, many more. And that's because it's the full history of women market related reports on WGSN. So in this area, you're going to find a mix of things for different seasons and styles. So you have to be careful to make sure you're looking at the season that's right for you. So just in this one row, we can see autumn, winter 26, 27, spring, summer 27, and just 2025. So you need to be thinking, okay, which is it that I'm looking for? Is this the right season? But it does allow you to have more of an overview of all of the information that's available. You can view even more reports by clicking on View Reports. And then you can narrow them further. So I could say I also want to narrow by season. So maybe I want to look to spring, summer 2027 within women's. And now that will limit me in this way. So for their women's wear forecast, they're going to also give you these different conceptual trends. So here we can say women's wear forecast spring, summer 27, contentional. This is one of the trends they're seeing coming. And if I click on it, this report as well is going to have a very similar structure. It has information about when it was published and by whom it was written, and it's got lots of inspirational imagery that is downloadable for you. It starts by telling you about the trend, the proof points that are the evidence that led them to this trend, and then it goes into color palettes. So this allows you to really see what they think is coming for the colors for this season. If you hover over the colors, it's going to give you the numbers for those colors in both Coloro and Pantone. More images are available for individual elements of this trend below. Again, all downloadable. And it's going to end by finding its place in the WGSN trend matrix as well. WGSN Fashion is a great tool for class projects, and I would definitely recommend that you try it out.